Welcome to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. I'm Elizabeth Townsend-Guard, your host. I'm a law professor at Tulane University Law School. I also hold 2 fellowships right now, one at the Business School and one at the Newcomb Institute at Tulane, and I just want to quilt. So today we talk with Colleen Herlocker. She is talking to us about the upcoming Iowa Shop Hop that is all of the month of June. We recorded this in late March, so we talk a little bit about sort of what's happening with COVID-19. But let's get ready to hop. Iowa's amazing, and also I have an article, a copyright article in their magazine this for June. So yeah, Shop Hop. So tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Colleen Herlocker, and I am calling from Cedar Rapids, Iowa today.
Awesome. And what's your first memory of someone sewing or quilting in your life?
I would say it's back when I was young, probably 6 or 7. I had an aunt who actually helped me make my first quilt, and it was hand-pieced.
Nice.
And she eventually taught me how to use my mom's old sewing machine. And I also remember really young making Barbie clothes by hand.
That's hard.
By hand.
Yeah, which is hard because it's so little. It's always it's so interesting. And then, did you take to sewing, or did you come back, or quilting, or did you come back to it later?
I've been a sewer on and off my whole life. I took sewing in home ec in high school. I loved it, and I did a little stint of trying to do some quilting when I was first married, and I couldn't get the corners right, and it was so frustrating. Looking back now, I realize that I picked a very complicated pattern. So I didn't quilt for a long time. As a later adult, probably in the last 10 to 15 years, my children show horses competitively.
Oh, interesting.
And
okay.
The jackets that they wear are very, very expensive. So I had 2 daughters, and to buy one of these jackets is anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000.
Oh my goodness!
They were young, and every year they had to have new jackets because they were growing out of them. And I thought, this is crazy. I'm going to learn. I've sewn. I think I can do this.
Yeah.
So I really got back into sewing heavy, I would say probably about 10 years ago. And then the store that I bought my machine from is great at classes, and I retired from a business and I had time on my hands, and I started taking some classes and got back into quilting. So here I am.
And here you are. So you really do have that kind of, the importance of a shop is really interesting. That'll make sense with what you're doing. Also, it's so interesting because I think about all the costumes my mom made and all of that got her in. So it's very similar, right? Like this sort of practical need of whether it's the jackets for your kids or and for my mom, she became a maniac sewer. She loved sewing in ridiculous ways. Ron's mom, my husband, who also had to make costumes, hates it beyond belief. So she's like, I made costumes, but it wasn't because I liked sewing. So she's like, I don't want to ever see a sewing machine again. So it could go either way is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's right. Well, and it's how I got involved in the All Iowa Shop Hop, in that I had sold the business, I was retired, and I was being all consumed with this new hobby. And I call it an art in some ways.
Yeah.
And stumbled across that and thought, wow, I can combine my passion for sewing and now quilting with my business background and marketing. And it just was, a great opportunity.
All right, so let's jump in. So for those listening who want to go to a website, it is alliowashophop.com. That's what we're talking about today. So tell me, first of all, in case someone's out there that doesn't know, what is a shop hop?
It's funny, Elizabeth, I have to explain this to all of my friends because a lot of my friends aren't sewers and they don't understand it.
Like,
so
what are you
I
doing?
compare it often to your audience, obviously, is probably going to know what it is. But for those who don't, I say, well, you know what a pub crawl is, right?
Right. Good job. Right. Exactly.
So it's a pub crawl for quilters, and it gives sewers and quilters and yarn and needlework people, but it gives them the opportunity, an excuse to go out and explore, I say, sort of outside of their comfort zone. Because, you know, for myself personally, the first couple of years that I got back into this sport, so to speak, I just went to my main store. I mean, they had everything I needed and they provided my classes, and I thought a quilt store is a quilt store, right? Yeah. And then I got in on the end of the All Iowa Shop Hop last year and thought, oh my goodness, there are other stores out there. And it's crazy how they're the same, but every one of them is different. They have different personalities. And that's what the Shop Hop does, is it allows you to go out there and it gives you a reason to explore and learn new things and see different things. And I was hooked.
And how long ago was that?
That was just last summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
the
goodness.
Shop Hop has been, we are in our 9th year.
Okay.
And I really didn't understand what Shop Hop was. Again, it's kind of new into quilting.
Yeah.
And my local store kind of explained it to me, and my family and I were on a trek. We are in central Iowa, and we were driving up to southern Minnesota for a week vacation that we do every year. And I said, well, so there's this thing called a Shop Hop going on. I'm telling my friends and family that are traveling with us. And so on the way up, we're going to take an alternative route, and we're going to go through these little Iowa towns, and we're going to stop at these shop hops because I want to check out what this is. And they're like, what? So we caravan, and there's probably 15 or 20 people and 3 or 4 vehicles driving up, and it was unbelievable. So I would go into the quilt shops, and my kids would follow me in, and the guys and my husband and other people who necessarily weren't interested in sewing would wander down to the local hardware store or the antique shops. And then in a couple of towns, we picked a little family restaurant to eat at.
Oh, that's so nice.
But it was so fun. And so everybody's like, we're doing this again next summer, because it was a great way to go out there and not just see the quilt shops, but see those quaint little Iowa towns and their personalities. So.
Oh, I want to do this so much. I swear. It's just, it is. And the thing that's crazy about it is that there are 93 stores.
In Iowa.
Iowa.
Well, and I full disclosure, there are more like, I think there are about 100, somewhere between 110 and maybe 120 stores.
Oh my goodness.
But we have 93 on the tour this year.
That's craziness.
And so it is crazy. I think I read somewhere, and you might have to quote this, but Iowa has the highest number of independent quilt shops per capita than any other state in the country.
And why do you think that is?
I have no idea. It's really interesting. I don't know why, except I don't know. It's a good question. I'm sure somebody knows.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? So, so it is huge. So it's so huge. You make a magazine, right? Is it once a year?
Yep, it's once a year. It's really kind of what sets our Shop Hop apart from others. As you know, there are many varieties and sizes and types of Shop Hops across the country, from just a weekend little regional 4 or 5 shops to statewide shops. But what sets us apart is that we publish a magazine. The other thing that sets us apart is that we design an exclusive fabric that we sell only. It doesn't go on sale until the Shop Hop, and supplies are limited, so you can only get it then. And the magazine provides patterns and projects with free patterns and projects using that Shop Hop fabric. It has great articles about our hobby, our state, those kinds of things. In fact, this year there's a really great article that talks and really enlightens our readers about what copyright means in the quilting world. Do you know anything about that?
I kind of know about that. So yeah, it's so funny. So yeah, I'm so psyched to be in your magazine. It's so cool. I'm really psyched. Now, do people buy the magazine? Do you give it out to people? Sort of what happens with the magazine?
They buy the magazine, and in the magazine is also our passport. So every store that you visit, you get a sticker for your passport.
That's very clever.
Each year we pick a little free giveaway that each store gives our visitors. So you can collect. In the past, we've done things like fabric, we've done pattern blocks, and then you collect all the blocks and you can make a quilt with them. This year we are giving away little individual 4-inch finished quilt blocks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that each store has designed their own unique square. And so it's, most of them, have a fun little quilting quote or a picture or something, but you can go around the state and collect these 93 squares and make a quilt, or collect 20 of them and make a quilt or whatever.
Oh my gosh, you're making me want to go. That's just crazy. That's and so how many people do you think participate in this? And it's a month long. It's for those listening. It's June 1st to June 30th, 2020. It's always the month of June. Right?
Yep, every year it's the month of June, and we're crossing our fingers. We are still on track despite what's going on out there in the world today.
So that was one of my questions. Is like, what will you do if you can't? Are you guys on? How is Iowa doing? I haven't checked.
Our governor just announced yesterday that we are beginning to open our state back up next week. So we're really positive about that.
Yeah.
We've been watching it very closely. We really wanted to lead and give our stores and our consumers something to look forward to, always being cognizant of course, safety and those kinds of things. So right now we are still on track with June 1st through June 30th. If we get closer and we feel like we need to make some accommodations, we can always do that. We have, the internet today is a great way to communicate.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident we're going to go forward with June 1st. The only thing that we may do is extend it if we find that stores or consumers still are a little hesitant. We want to make sure that we give people plenty of time to get to the stores.
Yeah.
But as of now, we're on track and we're super excited about it. We've had, definitely people are cautious, and they should be cautious, but I find that most people are ready to get back to life, and they're looking forward to it, knowing that we may have to use some common sense. And, if it's not safe for you to be out, obviously we would love to have you on a Shop Hop, but we don't want you to take risks.
Yeah.
But our stores need it too. They've been closed. And
everybody,
a lot of them, are busy online filling orders, especially for masks, but it's not the same thing. Many of our stores, they need us. They need us back.
That's really interesting. Do you think that if there's a problem, you'll move it to a different month, or what would you do exactly? Or have you not even worrying about that yet?
We have looked at it early on before we got the notice yesterday. We had two alternatives, possibly move it back a month or so, or extend it, like I said. But yesterday, the governor announced that she's starting plans to get us back open. I'm sure that I don't have all the details, but and I'm sure there'll be restrictions and some things.
Right. But it sounds like so much fun. It really does. Okay. I have a question for you. So, how many people? I know I'm looking. You have a lot of prizes. You have the grand prize level, the regional prize level, 5 or more stores. Each store has drawings. And, Shop Hops, if people haven't been to Shop Hops, it's fun. There's an energy. I took my kid, we have only 13 stores or so in Louisiana that does it. But Sid and I, we went to the first time, she was little. She must have been maybe 9. She was, and so we went on the shop hop, and we just didn't get very far. But we loved one store, so she's like, "Can we keep going back to that one store?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." We hop, and then she's like, "Can we stay in a hotel?" Now it's 20 minutes from our house, right? But she's like, "Can we stay in a hotel so we can go back in the morning?" I'm like, "You know what? It's a shop hop. Let's do it. Let's stay and slide out." So, yeah, we loved it. Something about the shop hop, the energy. If you haven't done a shop hop, you really should try.
It is.
It's so much fun, you know?
It is. Like I talked about earlier, it's not just the stores, but it is the small town. Like, I grew up in Iowa. So when I drive back into those little towns, and I just feel that, like, I see those little restaurants and the people who know everybody.
Yeah.
And something that's really unique about Iowa that a lot of people may not know is that, so we have 99 counties, and every county has a county seat. And in those towns, they have a town square, and there's a big, beautiful old style courthouse. And many of our towns where our quilt stores are located are also where those county seats are. And it's summer. It's the middle of beautiful summer in Iowa. And it's so much more about than just the quilt shops.
Yeah, it's so much more than shopping. The shopping is, I don't know. It's just really fun. I don't know if we'll get there this year, but I really, really wanted to do, like, I would love to just spend the month in Iowa doing it. It just sounds so much fun. We were in Illinois a couple of years ago. And the shop hop, I think there was some, we found out about the shop hop because you're close. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, can we just drop all of our plans and go there instead? Like, oh my gosh. Like, it just sounds perfect. Seriously perfect.
Well, Elizabeth, we are looking for additional states to coordinate their shop hop. We may be coming to a state close to you soon.
Yeah, well, I like that idea.
I wanted to go back to, like, your comment about staying at a hotel, your daughter. So we did a Facebook. We've been sort of promoting and getting people excited about our prizes. And every week we're giving away prizes up until June 1st. So, go to our website and sign up, and you'll get the latest challenge and fun way to win prizes. Last night we did our live Facebook event for our drawing for last week. And I talked to everybody about, on our website, we have resource pages for long arm quilting services.
Right, I saw that. Right, it's so great. Resources. So you got long arm quilting resources, which is amazing and so helpful to people, and retreat centers, which is awesome too.
And so we're encouraging people to, rather than just go to a hotel, to pick one of our retreat centers, call them. Many of them are allowing people just a one-night stay while they're shop hopping.
I like it.
Act as a hub, and you can bring your sewing machine along. You can go shop. So
I love it. This is like, I don't know. So my kid is going to be a senior next year, so I feel like if she's going to go on a big trip, I'm going to encourage her to do it like in June, and then I can bring the husband, and we can just go. It would be perfect.
There you go. Senior trip to the Iowa shop hop. What more can they do?
No, exactly. No, I think they want to go someplace else. So that's fine. But yes, I'll be like, okay, yes, you can do a senior trip, but we have to go to Iowa. So funny. All right. Well, this is amazing. I will think good thoughts for you guys, because it's a lot of work to get this together. Now tell me your role in all of this.
Well, I think of myself as a marketing arm for all of our stores. So our store owners put a lot into this, but they're running stores and they're managing employees. And my job is to do all of the coordination. So I coordinate the design and the printing of the magazine and the prizes and the promotion. That's the biggest thing, is getting the word out there. Last year we had visitors from 22 different states. So this isn't just about Iowa, but it's also bringing people into our state who might not come, or it's bringing people back home. Iowa is a great place to be from. And so this is a great excuse for people to come back home and do some quilting and visit family or old friends or old towns. And so that's my job, is to promote it and sell it and encourage people to come.
And why is that your job? Like, what tell us a little bit about your background and why that makes sense.
Well, I'm probably what you'd call one of those veritable entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I've been really fortunate in my life. I've ran several businesses. I've done consulting. And in 2018, I sold a home care company and was enjoying some time. I have a junior in high school. She's the last of four, getting ready to fly the coop. And so I was just enjoying some time off. And that's kind of when I stumbled across the All Iowa Shop Hop. And the people who were currently running it were store owners. And they recognized that this is a big deal. And so they've sort of reached their bandwidth, and they knew that it needed somebody who could focus their time specifically on that.
Interesting.
And I've always, loved the marketing end of a business and coordinate. It's really like coordinating a big party.
Right.
So I said, well, I don't need to, I needed something that was fun and not super high stressed, and it was perfect for me. And it allowed me to combine my love of sewing and crafting and arts and all of that with the business end of it. And I love helping our stores be successful, which is really what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to drive revenue and new consumers through their doors so that we can help maintain our small quilt stores, because you can buy fabric and notions online for a while, but we need those local quilt stores that are allowing us to touch and feel. And most importantly, we need them to teach us and to get us excited and to inspire us. And if they go away, we're all going to suffer for it.
It's true. So it's very true.
Our Iowa quilt stores talk about June is the month of the year that helps them stay open all year, because the traffic and the revenue that it generates in the month of June with our traffic allows them to compensate for those slower months. And all kinds of shop hops all across the country, that's what it does for these stores, so that's what we're here for.
Very interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So the economics is so interesting of all this, how important it is, and what I don't know. It's very interesting. And how are the shops? Are they surviving? Are they struggling? So how are they surviving through this? How long have you been closed? A long time, or sort of how are things in Iowa?
Gosh, that is a good question. We shut down most non-essential businesses, I want to say, at the end of March.
Got it.
And so it's been about 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm in communication with all of our stores across the state, and I would say many of them are getting by through online sales and curbside pickup. And a lot of it is related definitely to mask and gown making.
Right. Huge, right? A strange moment where, I think was so interesting about this. First, I've been really involved with the mask stuff, mostly because, we're in New Orleans. So it hit here fast and hard and scary. It was very scary. And we all knew people who were sick or had died. And it was not a far off thing for us here. Yeah. And so making masks was one way to sort of harness the energy of panic in huge ways.
Absolutely.
But what an interesting moment for the sewing industry. This industry who's been all these conversations, how do we get new sewers? How do we blah, blah, blah? This, right? There's no cheap sewing machines and everybody's sewing. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens. And everybody, and quilt fabric, all New York Times is you need to go get quilt fabric, not just fabric, What do you think about that as a marketing person? This has been amazingly weird, right?
I hope that we capitalize on it and that we are able to capture, especially that younger generation, that we can take advantage of it and spark the interest and roll with it. Because listen, we're all paying a price for this in some way, form, some much worse than others. But then to me, you always have to look at, okay, there's always got to be a silver lining when you go through something tragic like this. So if for our industry, that's what it does, great. I'm excited about that.
It's very interesting.
There are definitely stores out there that I'm concerned about. They may not have, they may not be tech savvy and able to sell online or through Facebook, or they may have, I've talked to a few store owners who have health concerns themselves. So even the risk of, being exposed at all to deliveries has them sort of locked down. And who, it's going to be, I think it's going to be several months before, and maybe even a year before we find out what the true economic impact is because of, the whole impact. And that's why I'm even more excited about the Shop Hop, because if it's something that can help our stores rebound a little bit faster or a little bit easier, then that's going to make me feel good about, that we're not just getting sewers excited about sewing, but we're supporting our stores. And that's, I would just encourage anybody listening to, when you have the opportunity to go out and buy something, and it's not just about fabric, of course, but anywhere, think about your small town store and business. And I know that you can go to Amazon and save $1 or $2, but it's not fair to those stores to go in and touch and feel and look and get your idea and then go home, because they need your support. They pay lights and employees to provide that resource to you.
It's so true. Yep. Oh, you know what we should do? We when we went to market, we made this this sign for quilt for shops that was like the basic kind of copyright policy, and I should send it to you because you could make it cooler. But it should go out to every shop, which is, it was just basic things like, you're free to share, if come and share stuff, and we would love to post it on. It was very innocuous, but it gave them kind of, it put the copyright notice on there, and it was just like 8.5 by 11, but it was also like, don't come take picture. You're not allowed to come take pictures of patterns, like that's not cool, right? Like certain things that like, but it was like 5 points, and then on the back of it, it had like the legal language, right? Like that we could be held contributorily liable if you are taking photographs of copyrighted works, so please refrain from that. So like the shop owner could explain why those laws were that way, but if you want, I will give it to you, and if you want to distribute that or make it prettier or change it, because we were giving out for free. So
that is a great idea. If you have it electronically for me, Elizabeth, and you could send it today or tomorrow.
I could do that.
I am getting ready I am delivering our kickoff boxes for all of our stores this week.
Interesting.
So I could get that in there so that they have them all.
Okay, cool.
I have to say, like, that's how I met you. I went to Quilt Market for my first time.
Right. And you saw, it's ridiculous. Yes.
I don't know if everybody you can explain what Quilt Market is.
Well, Quilt Market's for shops, right? It's the industry, business to business shop thing. So, right.
And it's crazy. It's like, I walked into the show floor the first day, and I was like, OMG.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, so I went by your booth, and it really made me think. And that's why I reached out and asked you to write an article in our magazine, because I think, quilters today, I don't think anybody ever purposely says, I'm going to go do something to hurt the people in this industry.
It's so true.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that, if I'm a quilt designer, that's how I make my living.
Yeah.
And, so it was
It's just
very enlightening for me.
That's really interesting because I feel like sometimes people are evil, but most of the time they're not, right? So it isn't like some people know, oh, I know I shouldn't do that. And they're going to be that way. They're probably that way in every part of their life, right? It's not like they're like going to be like, so like, well, they're really evil in the quilt shop, but the rest of the time they're great. That's just who they are. But a lot of times I just don't know. And so, I mean, I always think back to like my kid was really little and we were having a Christmas with my in-laws, and two of them that didn't have family, have little ones, like slept in till like 10 or 11. And it was like, dude, my kid has been up since 5 o'clock. Like you don't, like, are you mean? Are you cruel? Well, no, they just didn't understand, right? And I think that happens with copyright. That you can look at them and be like, are you kidding me? Like you just made 20 copies and put it up online? What's wrong with you? But a lot of times it's just like they're just sleeping in and they don't realize that, the designers are going to be upset about it. So I don't know. I think that I think that the shops really have this really interesting. They're like internet service providers. They're like Facebook in some way, right? They provide a platform for all this content to come in, and then we come and we do stuff. But that also means that they are kind of on the front lines. Like if they can help with copyright, and it's just better for everybody. So I really do see
it's education. I think it's education because. You're right. There are definitely people who know better, but there are just a lot of naive people. And listen, I'm a really business savvy person. I get it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would ever have done it, but when I went by your booth and I've read about that, I'm like, I wonder if I've ever done it and not realized it, or would I stop and think about it? So I think it's great, it's that information is great for our stores to promote. It's great for our consumers to understand. And at the end of the day, we all have to do the right thing. And we want this industry. We enjoy it. We all have to do our part to support it and to do the right things.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And that's information of what the right thing is. And that's sort of, that's really the thing. And so, so that's kind of our goal. I think it's really about quilters deciding what quilters want their world to be like. And we do share a lot, and we're really giving. Look at us. We're all making masks with our own fabric and our own time and giving them out to people. Some people are selling it. I'm okay with that. But it's very hard time. So I'm okay with people finding ways to make money. But like extraordinarily generous. So then you get this kind of funny situation, which is we are so generous, but then suddenly we're not allowed to make a copy and give it to our friends, right? Like there's this kind of strange, interesting disconnect. And I think that that's part of the problem. But I think if they understand, and also a lot of patterns that we use are in the public domain. So you're just like that, for me, I'm like, that's really not, like if I see like, oh, that's a Lone Star. Like, I don't need the pattern necessarily, right? Like, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to do that. And I think that is okay. Like, people have to know that, like, they look at it and it's okay. Like, you can make it too, right? It's just, we need to support our pattern makers. So instead of thinking about it as, and you know this because we've talked about, we've read the ridiculous article, but I think that my thing is like, it isn't about like, are you going to go to jail if you copy this pattern? Because that doesn't happen unless you're like, like you're copying it and like, you have to be
making money off of it.
Yeah, right. And like in big ways, right? There is criminal copyright. You can go to jail for copyright, but it is like, it is an unusual thing to happen. But I think it's about who we want to be as a group. And so if you see a pattern and you're like, oh, I like that, I probably could just do it myself. But if you pay the $8 for it, that really that sends a message to that, and it helps the whole ecosystem. So I don't think it's about copyright per se, but it's about supporting the designers that you really like so that they can pay their bills and be part of this community, And
keep providing us that inspiration and ideas. And listen, if we could all do it, we wouldn't need designers, right?
Right, exactly. If we could all do it. And also, I mean, they come up with such clever, interesting things, it's just awesome. So again, I think we're on the right track. It's, it's getting there, but, okay, I think I found it. I've been looking for the document because I thought our school's closed. Tulane is online like all the universities, but they won't let us in the building. So every time something like this happens, I think, I sure hope I sent it to myself and it's not on my computer at school. But I found it. I sent it to my assistant. Okay. I was like, everything is about like, I think I'm just going to be sending everything to myself for the rest of time because it's, after a month we were able to get in and like one day and like get everything that we needed, but they locked it down so fast that there was no time at the first when the first lockdown happened. So it was very, very strange.
It's funny, it's a little off topic, but I have a college senior.
Oh, you do?
He had left for spring break and just said, okay, to her friends, and okay, we'll see you in a week, and never went back. And
that's so terrible,
so,
right?
Yeah, no graduation.
Aww.
It's just this, it's just this awful, like, no closure. That's the crazy part. Like, never had a chance to say goodbye. And she's a senior, so she's not coming back next year.
That's really, really brutal. I mean, I think that was so hard. I mean, that's just so hard, I mean, that was...
And it seems silly, because I know people are, like, that's minor to what some people have done, but it's those little things that we all have to remember. And, when you're frustrated about people making comments and... their opinions, you have to remember everybody has their own battle, and maybe we don't know somebody who died or was really affected, but we all have paid a price, and we all just need patience and understanding and kindness.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more, because I really do feel like it affects every single person. My kid, she won't like this. Well, my kid is like the super uber student. She's been in college classes since she was 15. Like that kid, right? She's taking incompletes. She's just like fallen apart. She's fallen apart for medical reasons, but also just the whole thing. And if that's happening to like that kind of kid, it doesn't. It's affecting every single person. As you said, just be kind. Just just know it's like, it's just about, just be kind. Like that. That's all it takes.
It is something. We as human beings are social beings, and we are not meant to be isolated. And I've struggled myself personally with. There have been some really dark days where I'm like, what is our world coming to? And it's hard, and my heart goes out to everybody, because just like your daughter struggling with that, for her it can be just as bad as somebody who's struggling with a loved one who's on a ventilator. And and lots of people would say that's not true, but
it is.
Again, it just goes to, we all have to remember, we all have our own battles, we all deal with things in our different ways. And on an upside, thank God your listeners and I and you have this hobby, because I'm going to tell you, on those days where I was struggling, I went up to my sewing room, I turned a book on tape, and I just sewed my brains out.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true.
It allowed me to get away from it.
Okay, I just found the whole sewing with the books on tape last night.
Awesome.
I am a history of seriously. I was like 4 hours. I'm like, I made so many masks. Like, it was like, they're all in pieces, right? Like, I've got like, and I also feel like, if we ever had to escape to a country, like, we were on the run, like, kind of like Unbearable Lightness of Being kind of thing, I could totally be in a sweatshop, because I am like way into like I could do this, like just sit here and work and work and work.
I think that's why I like quilting, because it's like a goal. Okay, let's see, how can I get all of these half square triangles done tonight before I go to bed?
Exactly. Exactly. It's so interesting. So I was history. I don't even remember what I'm listening to. The kid made me listen to it. History of Love. A History of Love. It's a novel. And And it's so good. And it was like, last night I was like, I had like 4 hours straight. Oh, yeah. The History of Love by Nicole Krauss. It's incredible.
Okay. I just finished my latest book on tape. What did
what were you listening to? I need a new one soon. What did you do?
Oh my gosh. So have you listened to The Tattooist of Auschwitz?
No. Oh, no. That's so funny. This is also about... you need to just keep sending me your stuff. This is related. This is like it's got this whole like it's related. So that's good. Yeah, Tattooist of Auschwitz. I will do that one next.
So good. Yeah. And what was the other one? Oh, The Nightingale.
Okay.
Now those books are they're novels, but they're based on real life.
Nice.
And they Kristen Hanna wrote The Nightingale, and then she also wrote another book called The Winter Garden.
Okay.
And they're about the war, the World War II. And
so is The History of Love.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to read that then.
Yes.
And I haven't been like kind of a history interest. It wasn't typically something that I read, but man, those books, all three of those books, crazy. Like it's crazy. And it's funny, after what we're going through this, in today's world with COVID, I often think back to, okay, but during the wars, the World War I and II, that's what those stories are about.
Yep.
Those people, that was truly bad. Like, we're struggling with this, but I think back after listening to those books. So and
I think there is a comfort to other people in crisis in an interesting way, So I just and I think it kind of goes back to why I think about the mask making, and I really yesterday was okay. I have to say the mask making did a lot better with a book on, and that was really great. I hadn't tried that before, but I just keep thinking like I don't want to make any more masks. I really don't. But then I think, well, some nurse or doctor doesn't want to go. Like they don't want to be there either, right? So like if I can give a number of hours and give out masks, that's the least I can do. And I feel that I think that goes back to like everybody pitching in kind of thing, So,
well, I think it's the people in this sport or this hobby. I mean, everybody that I know that sews gives.
Yeah.
And because
that's what we do.
What we do.
Right.
We put hundreds and hundreds of hours into these quilts and we spend hundreds of dollars and then we give them away.
Exactly. It's just so interesting, isn't it? That's the essence of this field, which is just, amazing and special and cool and like I don't know. I just completely have fallen in love with quilting and the quilting world because of it. Because how could you not, right? I mean,
Yeah, and the side effect, by the way, of making masks is that when this is all over, guess what? You guys have to go out there and buy more fabric to replenish your stash.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. And I was laughing because I'm on sabbatical, which has just been a whole nother thing. And I was laughing because I was like, we have collected a lot of fabric over the last couple of years with this project, and I'm like, I am going to use so much fabric up that by the time my sabbatical's up, I will have nothing left, and I will have to just go on a massive shopping. And it's happening. It's happening. It's kind of remarkable,
Because what you were going to say, I didn't realize how much I have.
Oh, it's true. But we've been giving out. We've been giving out fabric to local crafters so that their profit margins are higher. We got a small grant, so we bought fabric from Jaftex, and we gave that out to groups that were making it mostly in the 7th Ward, but other places. And we've been making masks for all kinds of people. So we've made them. I haven't really talked about this. We've been making them for the reporters here in town, and then it was an pediatric immigrant group at Tulane, and there's always like the next group, a skilled nursing home. And so I think, anything that's a yard is not safe. And yard or more in my stash is not safe. It's like, even my fancy good stuff, it's like, yeah, you're fancy and good, but you're not above the mask making. So, get in line.
Somebody's going to have some really fashion masks.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what we've kind of gone in, and that's what we've kind of gone to now. It's just, ones that are super cool and interesting. All the Halloween fabric is gone. You know, like ones that are like cool and interesting, because people seem to really like them. And I think if they like them, then they're going to wear them. That was our, you know, our thought,
well,
you know.
It's funny, my husband, he just finished up, right before this all happened, he just finished up some throat cancer treatments.
Oh, my goodness.
And
yeah.
So he still had to go, you know, he's still going back in for, you know, follow-up checkups and that kind of stuff. And so the other day we went in and the hospital was at a point where they were requiring everybody going into the hospital to have a mask. So he got to dig through these masks. And of course he picked the craziest.
Right.
Like he had to, you know, he kept looking at masks until he found the one that had the weirdest, I don't know, had flies or something on it, which is just his personality. And
that's so great. And I think that's really, I mean, it was so cool because we've been making them for strangers, right? Like we never see the people. And then we turned to our family. And so, and friends, and it was fun to be making masks and being like, you know, I think Jan would like that one, you know, like it was so fun to be like, okay, we're sending these to this person because we know they love cats, and that was just so we have one more round of that, at least one more round, but our next big round, because then we, you know, once you do it, then other people come everybody needs masks, so so the weekends are mask related, but I now have lots of good books, so that's really good. It's really good. Yeah, it's all good. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm still looking. That document was not the document that we needed, so I'm still looking for it, but I think the kid has it on her computer. So
well, if you find it, send it to me. If nothing else, I will, you know, I send information out to our stores weekly, and I'll just attach it as a file, and they can print it.
Cool. Awesome. And then I think what we'll do is it has a certain amount of like what you can and can't do. And maybe if you want, we can chat again. When I find it, maybe you can even come back on the podcast and we can talk about, let's do that. And then sort of if they want to change it, how they change it. So we can do it as a Word document as well so they can change it.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that they understand what they're doing because I don't want them overstepping. Because overstepping, you can be sued for copyright misuse. So it's, you know, it isn't just like, oh, I told them never to do any, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be so strict that you're breaking the law because that itself is breaking the law, right? So, we can do that.
Well, and your article, definitely, I mean, they're all going to get to read that. And anybody who comes on the All Iowa Shop Hop, or if you just want to buy the magazine, you can do that by contacting one of our stores. That great article is in it.
And so fabulous.
It does a really good job of helping people understand, because there is, like you had mentioned about, you used a word, but you know, when it's out there and when it's okay.
Oh, first sale doctrine. Yeah, first sale doctrine. Right. So you buy something, you can use it. Like that's the why you buy it, right? Like you think about like if you like used record stores and our quilt guilds where everybody brings their magazines and you can take one if you want. Like that's first sale doctrine. And so we have to make sure that we understand that. And also that things are in the public domain. That's why we can do what we do, is because, you know, everybody is able to use the same blocks. So
well, you give some really good examples in that article. So
cool. I can't wait to see it. It's so very cool.
And we're the first. The All Iowa Shop Hop magazine is the first to have that article written by you.
Yes,
right?
It's my first one. That's right. I've been doing others, and other people have been asking for me to help them on their copyright. But yes, the All Iowa Shop Hop magazine was the first, and I think that's so very cool. So cool. Like, all right. So this has been amazing. I am so psyched. We have chatted, and you're doing. I really will think that. I really hope that that everything goes for you guys, because that would just be so cool. You know.
Well, we do it every year, and even if something interrupts or you know we don't get as big of a bang this year, I know that we're still gonna, you know, enlighten some quilters. We're gonna introduce new people to new stores and vice versa, and 2021 will be even better. So
yeah, I think it'll be great. It's really awesome, and I do hope to get there probably next summer.
Well,
Sid
listen,
was
when
supposed to
you
go.
come,
Yeah.
you call me,
I will.
and I'll be your personal chauffeur.
Oh my gosh, that would be, you don't even know. Like, be careful what you say, because I will totally take you up on that. I just think, I have never been to Iowa, and it all sounds so romantic, and it seems amazing, and I think it would be just so much fun to have a Just Wanna Quilt, like, gang of us there doing stuff, because it would be so much fun. It would be so much fun.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Definitely. Well, let's make that happen. Okay. Then. We'll aim for 2021.
2021. I think we need like a bus, like a wrapped bus. That's not going to happen.
We can totally do that.
Wouldn't that be cool? Oh my gosh. Hit every store. It would be awesome. Just be like, yes,
I think next week, so we've mapped it out because we're delivering all of the kickoff boxes and the magazines and everything to our stores. And we are doing it in 5 days.
Really?
We're dividing and conquering, so we're going to have it all done by Wednesday, but one person could do it.
How long do you think it would take to do it? I mean, not like with something, like you couldn't bring my husband because he would just stay at one store for like he's like my kid, right? They'd be like, I really like this town. Let's just stay here for a couple days. But how?
I can touch. So it's really funny. We've been using Google and Google Maps and routing out and if I went this direction, because our goal is to get everything done. And so if I just walked in every store, I could do it in a week.
Really?
5 days. Actually, I can do it in 4.5 days.
Wow, that's insane. That's really insane, because Iowa isn't that huge, right?
I don't have a lot of time to shop, but I could look in it and I could see it.
Right, but you could expand that to 2 weeks or 3 weeks and be fine. And Iowa's not huge. It's not like California, right? So that's part of why you can get everywhere.
Like if you, I can do almost. So we have the state divided into 6 different regions. And you win prizes by completing a region, and you get prizes for doing the whole state, and just for visiting 5 stores as well.
Yeah.
I think you can complete each of our regions in a day. Like if you got up early and were at the first store, you could do it each one of them in a day. A couple of them have more stores than others. It would be a push. You probably want to do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And listen, our stores understand that. Everybody isn't. I mean, that you can't, when you're going and you're visiting, if you're potentially visiting 93 stores, you're not going to buy something.
Yeah, you can't. Because you can't. Right. I mean, you can't.
But our goal is that we're just introducing you. And we encourage people to take your magazine along, make notes about what you liked.
Yeah.
So that next time you're in the area, you have your magazine, you're like, oh yeah, I want to stop back at that really cool store.
Yeah.
So...
I love it. Yeah, and really, that's really what happens with shop hops. I mean, that's why we ended up at one store like 3 times, because Sid was like, yeah, I like this one. And they all have such a different feel and vibe that, it's really, we tried to do our own shop. We visited Tara Miller in Atlanta, I think not last summer, but the summer before. And we were joking on a call like us, and I was like, "Oh, hey, we want to go see this exhibit that's there, this craftism exhibit." And then we suddenly were there. So Tara and I made our own little shop hop, but it was so hard because, it was, we didn't get to very many. We went to like 4 or 5. There's something about the energy of a planned shop hop that it keeps you on the road, and everybody's there, and like you're moving, and you're seeing the same people, and it's just if people are listening and you haven't experienced
it's a lot extra rewards.
Yes,
you get like the prizes,
right, exactly, and right, and there's like all kinds of stuff going on, and there's I don't know, it's just fun. It's a really fun thing, and just so again, I encourage people to do shop hops. How do you feel about, and I know we've been talking for a long time, but I'm curious, how do you feel about virtual shop hops? Because that's happening a lot, and that's a big thing. It's different. I've never really gotten into them personally, but I know people that are really into them. So do you?
Yeah, honestly, I've never done one either.
Yeah.
But I mean, in today's world, I think it's a great idea if it's getting people out and about.
Yeah.
But I will go back to what I said earlier. We need to touch and feel.
Yeah.
And we are human.
It's true.
We need that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
And our quilt stores, it's about education and inspiration. Like,
Yeah.
I can sit at home and look at stuff on the internet and think, okay.
Yeah.
But it's something about going into that store where I think I could do this.
Yeah.
Like, when that quilt store employee comes over and makes suggestions or ideas, or I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how did they do that? And they're like, oh, here, let me show you. Flip it over. And then I believe I can do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I buy it and I go home and I try it.
Yeah. And the thing also is that you buy things you wouldn't buy. Like, you're like, oh, I need that lobster fabric with, margaritas on it, because you wouldn't ever buy that online. You wouldn't be like, at least for me, I like, you see it in context, and you're like, I have to have that. I do not know why. And then you bring it home, and then it sits on and then you're like, I'm making masks with it. That's why I needed to buy it. So it's good.
Well, but that's a really good, another example. Like, so many of our stores have, monthly get-togethers or classes where it helps you stay focused on, okay, what are you going to do this month?
Yeah.
Like, get your project that you started last month. Let's work on it. And I think that's the other thing that they do for us, is they keep us focused and keep us moving forward. So
yeah,
go out there, totally. Support your local shop hop, support your local small businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a hardware store.
Yeah.
We need them.
Yep.
Like, the Amazons and the big box stores, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
These little guys need us today more than ever, right?
Yeah. And we've earned it. I mean, I think really, like, seriously, like, this year, maybe next year too, like, think how much money you have given out to people in terms of your stash. I feel so like I am not going to feel guilty about going to a quilt shop anymore, ever. Absolutely. Seriously, I have earned it. Like, I have, like, seriously, that I think we should all be like, we get a few years of just, like, you buy what you want to buy, And be like, I'm stocking up just in case,
We need to make that. We need to make that sign and put it out in front of all of our quilt stores.
Totally. Seriously, totally do it. If you do it, send it to me, because we should get it out to everybody. Like, we've earned this. Like, leave me alone. Like, all that kind of, like, don't tell my husband I'm buying crap. Like, no, tell my husband I'm buying, because in an emergency, I'm your go-to person, right? Like,
that's right. Stepped up to the plate.
Exactly. Like, the only reason we can do this is because we bought like crazy, and that there was no problem with us making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of masks. So,
wouldn't it be interesting to know how many across the entire United States were sewn and donated?
Yeah, I wish you would do that with your shop hop too. I would love to have people putting in like how many you made, like, just, there's no, I'm always about the metrics. I feel that way about quilting charity quilts. Like, I would really like to know, metric wise, how many people are donating quilts across this country, because I think people would be shocked, right? It's got to be in the tens of thousands.
That's a really good idea, Elizabeth. I'm every week we're doing, some prizes to get people excited about the shop hop.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking for, something to, here's how you enter. So I'll put something out there. Maybe that's what we'll do this week, is, share something to that effect, and I'll see how many donated masks we can figure out.
Right.
Just our followers.
I would love it. I think, I'm seriously, I'm so curious. I'm also curious. These are things I'm curious about, but I don't have any way to, we're putting it on our Facebook page, and I haven't done it yet, because I'm writing about this. That's part of what my sabbatical will be, is like responding sort of what this is. Oh, I have another thing I'll give you as well. Yeah, I'm really curious about the numbers, like this sheer, like, how many did you make? But who did you make them for? Like, are you protecting your friends and your family? Was it a random group that asked you to do it? Like, did you get involved with a Facebook group? Like, this has been such a community building thing that it's amazing. Like, did your local shop support, like, what happened? I'm worried about this history being lost, because it feels like a lot of stuff happened to our quilting community in an amazing way. And how do we capture that, right? Like, because I think, I don't know. So that's yeah. Also, I did.
No, I think you're right. I've personally been contacted by a couple of different groups who were coordinating efforts. And initially it was all about the hospital workers. And then, this group said, well, the hospitals are telling us, okay, they have their supply,
right.
but discovered all of these other places, like the nursing homes and the food bank volunteers and the
pretty much everybody walking around that isn't essential medical somehow now needs it in a variety of ways. From the we had a kitten and puppy rescue group ask us for masks. Right? Like, that's craziness. Right? So,
and aren't they, did I hear that in New Orleans you have to have a mask on to be outside?
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I
know there are some cities.
Yeah, I don't think we got that. I mean, I think that people are doing it, but I don't know if we've got a mandatory mask.
It's not a requirement. Yeah.
No, I think there are other places that it is, which is interesting. That's why we're getting friends and family panicking about, like, they can't find masks online, and they've gone to Etsy, and it's going to take too long and all that. So we've been sending out to friends and family in New York and California and everywhere. So...
well, I really hope that, I mean, I think we all have to take precautions, but I really hope that people just use common sense and think, and don't let fear, overtake you. We still have to live, and we have to be safe, and we have to be careful, but
we have the new normal, what the new normal is, and sort of go out there. Yeah. Well, this has been so insanely great. We haven't talked about regular things in so long. It's so nice. It's really good. Okay, cool. Well, I will still try to look for that document. I haven't been able to find it, which is not. Okay. I think it could be I bet it's on my laptop computer. We'll take a look, or we'll find it.
If you whenever you get it, I'll get it out to my stores. Cool. And
awesome.
Thank you so much. This has been awesome to get information out about the Shop Hop.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Ways that you can support your local stores.
Awesome. Well, keep me posted, and feel free to post in our Facebook group and let us know just continue to let us know if it's on or not, because I know people are. I think you guys will be one of the first things, the quilting things again, that are open if that works out.
I hope so.
Be great. Okay. All right, fabulous. Thank you for your time. Take care. You're okay with me posting? There's no reason to edit or any of those things?
Yeah, I don't think I talked about my sister much, so you're good.
No, it's good. I did a few things, but I'm going to leave them in because I'm okay with that. All right, cool. So hold on.
My family's used to it. So.
Yeah, me too. All right, fabulous. All right, take care, and will you send me an email requesting that stuff, because I'll remember to do it then once I get back to my work.
I will.
Okay, right fabulous. Now. All right, take care.
Okay,
bye.
Thank you.
So you've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. And I'm Elizabeth Townsend Gard. If you like this podcast, keep listening. Also, we have a Facebook group. Come join us. We talk about a lot of things. We also have an Instagram account. And of course, most importantly, I really hope you get a chance to quilt today.